Hello there everybody, I'm Magna 2. I'm just going to be doing a small review of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order now. Well, it came out a couple of months ago, and since then there have been a few additions that I think have made the game good, but not completely good, to say the least. So let's show you some of the things here. Basically, the game is a little bit flawed. But it's also very fan servicey, and it gives you a lot of things you want. For example, let's take a look-see. I'm not going to go into details about these graphics, because you can see on the screen for yourselves. But if you look at the roster here, I haven't got two of these. The characters that are actually removed are unlockable characters, as are Elektra and Magneto. Cyclops and Colossus were recently added as free DLC, which was very nice of them, considering they could have easily made them pay DLC, along with a challenge tower for both of them, which added in some really advanced challenges too, which I found quite a good move to keep the game going until the actual DLC comes out. I feel like they're probably going the right way about actually releasing the downloadable content on this game. But, well, if you look at this, the roster is very rich. There are incredible amounts of fan favourite characters in here. Surprisingly, no Fantastic Four, though. And we gotta think that's probably because of maybe the fact that they still haven't really put the Fantastic Four into any Marvel properties yet. But if you look at this, you can see that the game has a rather rich look with the Switch's general blocky textures that exist around here. I chose this area just to show you how the general loadout of the sort of base areas is. There isn't a primary base where you do things. In fact, this game has just a system where you go back to the main menu and you do everything from the main menu. Now, when we consider Marvel Avengers Alliance 2, they actually had Avengers Tower where you would go around and do everything from like a main hub base there. And I really liked that. That gave me a sense of being in the universe, not just playing through levels. Suffice to say that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 has a very Devil May Cry feel to it. Now, I know some people might feel that that's a good thing. If we take a look at how the chapters work, they work basically in sections. Now, within each of these chapters, you'll find that there are a lot of fights and a lot of content in each one of them. So it's not really the case that each of these are lacking in content. It's the fact of the pace that they go at. Now, for some odd reason, the game seems to have this idea that it wants to rush you through everything. Like, you'll go into a fight, beat the boss, there'll be a small cutscene, and you'll move on to the next one. And it really lacks in developing characters beyond what they are on the surface. If you already know Marvel, then you're going to have a hard time with this. You're going to know the backstory before this. But if you were a new player picking this up, say a new person to the series who has a Switch and wants to buy the game, they're going to find these characters very bland. And I found that quite upsetting, because I feel there are a lot of characters that simply just happen. Like, if you look at Crystal here, Crystal doesn't have anything to do until Chapter 7, except allow her dog to start teleporting people in this level. And the Scarlet Witch generally does nothing in the game, except for in this thing, because she happens to have magic. And then we have Chapter 10, which I feel is the biggest disservice this game gives, and I'll go into that in a second. So, basically, the structure of these chapters is very good, actually. You go through, you beat a boss, you move on to the next boss. There's an ongoing story throughout the entire level. Once you exit that locale, you'll go straight on to the next one. But there's no general reprieve except for a small break area where you can talk to characters and then move on. Now, I feel that there was a very big disconnect from each chapter. Like, you'd finish here, then you'd move on to Ninjas, then Avengers Tower, which was being attacked by Ultron, then X-Mansion, then suddenly Dark Dimension, then Then here, you got thrown places without much of a reprieve at all. It's just talk to one person and then you're there. And I don't even want to start about Chapter 8's hilarity. But we'll go into that in a minute. So, I already mentioned Chapter 10. Yeah, Chapter 10... Okay, the entire game has been the Black Order building up Thanos, right? Thanos is the main villain. Thanos has already been seen in a future prophecy in Chapter 2 as already winning and flexing on you, saying, I'll be waiting here because I've already won, ha 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 ha. And because Thanos has flexed so hard, he's spent the entire game just building this up. However, Thanos gets, well, beaten by your party, despite having the Infinity Gauntlet. And then he's still got the gauntlet on, and he's like, how could I have been destroyed? And I'm just like, dude, gauntlets, wipe them out. And then there is the horribleness of Thane. Oh dear. Thane appears, who is Thanos' son, and I really don't want to know who he stuck his big purple stones into to produce him, or who would possibly actually mate with Big Daddy Thanos over here. But yeah, he appears, Asio's the Gauntlet, Harry Potter style, and summons a huge freaking armor set and says, ha 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 ha, I'm evil now. But wait, I'm not evil now. But I am evil now. It's so weird. And yeah, the final boss is effectively daddy issues. And Thane is the final boss, and the end cutscene is Thanos basically deciding to bitch slap him, saying, you stupid kid. And then the weirdest shit ever happens. Thanos decides to kill himself with Thane, and kills them both. And the rest of the Avengers go, well that happened, let's just move these stones away from each other, and the game ends. And I'm left thinking, the fuck was that? We just went through all manner of shit, random stuff happened, fan-servicey bullshit like an Infinity Stone-powered Sentinel, Dormammu with the Reality Stone possessing Doctor Strange in one of the most badass cutscenes I've seen in one of these games, with this inner battle, which frankly makes the Dark Dimension and the Dark Dimension and the Xavier Institute are the best levels in the game. They put so much detail in these two. Deadpool gets a whole jokey segment, which made me laugh. Unfortunately, he doesn't continue doing that for the rest of the game. It's sort of like the characters are there, but then once you're done, they're gone, and the only way you ever have contact with these people is to go back through these chapters and redo it with the same cutscenes again. It's like Thor! Thor only talks in this chapter after being here for most of the game. He's in your opening party. It's very weird how this game treats the characters. Even Thanos who has just come off the most amazing movie of recent memory, is relegated to boss fight, then bitch slapped out, and then Thane comes and he's the main villain. It's a real horrible way to end the game. Now don't get me wrong, I love this game. The gameplay and the bosses and the way they come out is really good. If you want to have a fun time with friends, this is probably a good co-op game. It's definitely better than stuff like Lego Star Wars or whatever for that type of gameplay. As a game you'd go on a couch and get your friends to play, it's very good. But as a game, as a Marvel fan, this game will have you scratching your head and then immediately go, whoa, that was cool, and then scratching your head again. Like, I don't think I can show you any of the cutscenes for fear of being copyright struck. Actually, screw it. It's gameplay, isn't it? It'll do it. It's good to show you how the cutscenes work. The cutscenes in this game are probably one of the best things. There's 114 of them, and they're all like 20 to 30 second cutscenes. Some of them are really good. Some of them are like, Like, okay, here, watch this. This is one of the funny ones. Like, this is the Black Order just appear and they're like, we're badass, we're going to kill you all. And then you just get this moment of Nightcrawler just going, well, screw you then. And yeets her off the screen. and then you fight him by himself. But unfortunately, the game decides that's a good point to put in a hopeless boss fight. So despite how badass your party is, chances are, unless you actually go back and beef yourself up, you're not winning that fight. And even if you win that fight, you still end up getting... The game tells you you've been beaten. Chapter 5 has a lot of that. Chapter 5 probably has the best mechanics that this game has offered. It's a pity they don't extend to anything else. Like, some of these are just so beautifully rendered, it makes me speechless. I mean, like, I don't understand this, right? Attilan, Chapter 7, is just one segment. Like, all the previous chapters have been, like, 4 to 6 segments. But it's like Attilan was just shanghaied in just to introduce the Inhumans to new people. And then you've got Wakanda, which has a ton of stuff. Okay, now I need to talk about Chapter 8, which is the most scandalous of things that this game has to offer. Okay, so Chapter 8 has this huge, big, long segment at the beginning where all the characters are going, oh my god, the Winter Soldier's so badass. The Winter Soldier is amazing. We fucking love the Winter Soldier. We want his metal arm on a trophy that we carry around. And yeah, basically they're just like, we love him. Not playable. You cannot play the Winter Soldier. And he basically just says, you guys go ahead while I charge at this huge army. And even later on, while you're in-game, they're like saying, oh, I would have rather had the Winter Soldier down here. He'd be real helpful here. And I'm just like, the fuck? You have literal Captain America, yet everyone's jizzing about the Winter Soldier. What is this? And he's not playable. If he's DLC, then clearly this entire chapter was offered up to DLC bait. But I doubt he's going to be DLC because it's Marvel Knights and Fantastic Four DLC. Why could we not have Winter Soldier game? Was he too badass under the game's own rules? But, yeah, so... effectively, I would say, as a final remark, this game, if you're a Marvel fan, yeah, it's good. You'd have a good time. You would scratch your head. You'd be like, there? Why? What a weird decision. But you'd still have fun. It's better than the other two. And it's definitely worth, I'd say, the market retail price is $60. I would say it's worth around $45. So if you wait until it comes down in price, it's definitely going to be worth you while to pick it up. It's not like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. They haven't left out all the X-Men. Sorry, Marvel Infinite. That's the wrong game. But anyway, so that's my general idea. Oh, I didn't talk about the music. I'm not talking about your music. I'm going to leave you with some of the awesome music that's in this game, because that's the one thing. The boss fights are absolutely amazing. Like, if you just listen here. So yeah, you can tell it's sort of like a amazing load of Final Fantasy music, but some of the battle music is also really neat. Like, this sounds good. Like, look at sound of that. It sounds like something out of Wipeout. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you if you watched this video. I appreciate it. Hopefully you got something good out of it. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.